Oh boy, here we go. On an absolutely gorgeous Monday afternoon. Are you kidding me? I can't find a cloud in the sky. If you can find a cloud in the sky, photograph it, send it over to us, Corey at Corey Talks, and I'll give you a $50 Woodhouse Day Spa gift certificate. I'm not kidding you. A cloudless blue sky, gorgeous weather day. What up, Mario Brothers, a.k.a. Latinx? I see you leaning in towards the microphone.
I'm just making sure it's placed right when it is time for me to talk. But hello, Corey. Good afternoon. How are you?
What's up, man?
Not much, man. Good weekend. Feels nice outside. So
what makes you assume that I would let you talk on the program, Mario?
I don't know. I basically do every day.
Oh, yeah, that's true. And you are the sports expert, and you're a radio guy, and you're a good guy that adds positive vibes to the show. But otherwise, why would you think I'd allow you to come on the program, Mario?
Thank you. All the above.
Yep, exactly. He is a good guy, and he knows his stuff. We're lucky to have him in studio, running the controls, handling everything, and then just the super gravy part. Guy, does Spanish play-by-play for the Pels, Saints. You've done LSU, a bunch of different teams, huh?
I have, yes. Used to be the Spanish voice of the Tigers, too.
Yeah, wow. And Mario knows Saints, Pels, Tulane, LSU, all the teams. Mario, I've got a good show lined up for you. Well, maybe, I don't know. It might be a depressing show, huh?
I mean, it must be talked about, Yep. There's certainly a lot to talk about and critique. So, bad times for all the teams you just mentioned, but still looking forward to the conversation.
So the Pels are 0-6 after just getting ripped in 3 straight on the road by playoff teams.
Yes.
And the Saints are 1-8. 1-8. And we're in November, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're in the month of November.
Yes.
And the NFL franchise in the city and the NBA franchise in the city combined have 1 victory.
Jeez.
That's harsh.
Yeah, that's really bad.
And 14 losses.
Man, Saints are 1-8 for the first time since 1980, I saw. So 45 years since it's been this bad.
Since 1980, which was the bag. That was when Buddy D, put on the bags.
Yes, I think you're going to see a lot of those in the Superdome in the near future.
That's such a great story, too. Buddy owned a bar on Vets. And I think a lot of booking went on in there, And Buddy just had a bunch of Metri characters, Back then, especially, even more than now. Now we're in the like second, third generation. Back then, it was first generation Metairie people that moved from New Orleans, like got to get out of New Orleans, just sort of the, white kind of crabby, mad at New Orleans guy,
All right.
Cigarette smoking, hanging out at the bar all day, betting and gambling. No, I'm not dogging any of that. I got a lot of friends that are just like that.
Yes, I know the exact type of people you're talking
hanging
about.
Out at the bar, just a fixture at the bar, just a bunch of characters talking crazy stuff, So Buddy's in there, and there was a show called The Gong Show. If you've ever seen, I don't know if you've ever seen The Gong Show. It's basically where these acts come on that are pretty pathetic. And how long until they get gonged. And if they make it through the time period, like maybe it's so bad, it's compelling and they don't get gonged, they win a prize or whatever. And it's got crazy Hollywood kind of second tier actors and actresses that go on the show. Anyway, they had this guy that would dance. They had a few people that would just come out and dance. I forgot the guy disco guy who would dance. And they had the unknown comic. He'd come out and tell jokes, and he had on like a suit with no tie, big old wide collar on top the shirt, big lapel. And he had a paper bag with 3 holes cut in it, like mouth and 2 eyes, and would do his stand up with the bag. The unknown comic. Someone at Buddy D's bar Buddy D is doing stories for Channel 6. And I think he's like going to like cemeteries and doing a stand-up at a cemetery because the team was like, 0 for 10. They went 1-15 on the year. I think they finally beat the Jets like week 10 or something. Somebody's doing like stand-ups in a cemetery and just, crazy stuff. And then one guy's like, Buddy, why don't you put on a bag like the unknown comic when you do one of your things? The next day, Buddy's got on a bag with 3 holes. Like, I'm so embarrassed to be a sportscaster covering this team. I'm wearing a bag. And then folks started wearing bags to the game. And the rest is history. Buddy D at his bar, some character in New Orleans, probably waiting to place a bet. Hey, buddy, why don't you be like the unknown comic? Do you stand up with a bag on your head? You're so embarrassed. Kaboom goes the dynamite. That's exactly what happened. Somebody's going to bring back bags in the next week or two. It is guaranteed. If it has not happened already, Mario
Oh
Brothers,
no.
have you seen a bag yet?
Yeah, they had people at the Rams game.
Wearing bags.
Yes, in Saints gear wearing paper bags.
Wow.
Yes, I saw pictures of
Wow.
that already. I'm
Unbelievable.
sure you will see it a lot in the Superdome as well.
Wow. Yeah, I think it's coming. Anyway, the Pels are 0-6. The Saints are 1-8. The teams are terrible. How are the franchises? Are they terrible too? Shamit Dua is going to join us. He's been covering the Pelicans for years, knows what he's talking about. Great writer, good journalist, knows his stuff and not scared to give an opinion or two. So he's going to join us. You can check him out on Twitter at Fear the Brown. Fear the Brown. Mario. pencil's expensive today, A cinder block's expensive. I'd say paper towels and toilet tissue, but we've already done that program. Everything's expensive. No, we getting a little more social media savvy and had to upgrade the studio and computers and things like that. Anyway, so we apologize if YouTube or freezes on X. We'll fix it immediately, and within a minute or two, we'll be right back. Like getting ready to stream in Mario Brothers 3-2-1, huh? Already back up and running. Shamit Dua at Fear the Brown on X joins us next. Scott Kushner in the 5 o'clock pow hour. The Pels and Saints are terrible.
Scott Craig of Katie's Restaurant.
All of my ingredients are fresh. Nothing comes out of a can here. Nothing. All of our seafood is Louisiana. All of our vegetables are Louisiana vegetables. It's a neighborhood restaurant.
Katie's in Mid-City.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
Artificial turf custom golf putting green. Beautiful, functional, zero maintenance. Call New Orleans' own LGD Lawn and Landscapes and get your free estimate.
Dave Miet Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miet, insagency.com. Dave Miet Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miet, insagency.com.
Total maintenance keeps you cool. TM-AC.com, no cool spots. TM-AC.com, no cool spots.
Word is, one of the best restaurants in New Orleans isn't even in New Orleans. Gallagher's 527 in Mandeville. Cross the lake and taste what you're missing. Tuesday through Saturday, Gallagher's 527 in Mandeville.
Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's right. Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and delivery. Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes on magazine, as unique as you.
Francesca Deli and Pizzeria has over 15 specialty sandwiches, a big 10-ounce burger, and some of the best pizza in New Orleans. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End.
Trey Yen in Mandeville, a New Orleans tradition for over 40 years, serving the finest Louisiana-inspired Chinese cuisine. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Trey Yen.
Greater New Orleans, a destination for learning. With 13 colleges and universities and a booming job market, Greater New Orleans is the ultimate destination for your higher education. Your path to the future begins in Greater New Orleans. Find out more at studynola.com.
Thoughtful conversation.
Time is money. You said opium was money. Money is money. Well, then what is time again?
Corey Johnson on 93.9 FM and 107.9 FM.
I think time is money too. Corey Johnson, yeah, you're right. Glorious weather day, 65 degrees, 45% humidity. There's not a cloud in the sky. Doesn't get any better than this. Well, maybe if the Saints had picked up a victory yesterday, or one or two more, or three or four more during the season. The Saints are 1-8. The Pelicans are 0-6, 0-6. Both these teams are terrible. I've been following this guy for a while. Very good writer, very good journalist, has really good opinions based on facts. always comes up with something that you're like, didn't know that, you learned something. Shamit Dua joins us for the first time on the program. Shamit, a pleasure, man. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, and thank you for the high praises. I really appreciate that. I'm excited to be on the show for you. It's a pleasure.
Yep, man. I see you on the stacked coaching sign-up list. You're a member at the gym on River Road, huh?
Yeah, shout out to my guy Bradley, keeping me fit. Love that place. It's honestly, it's transformed my life ever since I got into that.
Isn't that the truth? I mean, you don't want to say it almost because it sounds like some kind of commercial or something, but it is. Plus, I'm not like it changed my life kind of guy at all, ever.
Yeah.
But this thing has changed my life. Bradley Sneller knows his stuff, man. I mean, fitness, nutrition, the guy doesn't talk unless he knows what he's talking about.
It's unbelievable. And then the amount of research that he does and the amount of it that's just, evidence-based, that he's like, all right, these are the things that work, and it's not just a fad or, the latest thing, but, it's backed by science, and it's great.
Yeah.
I could not ask for a better friend, honestly, and a great environment in the gym.
No, I couldn't say it better myself. Good friend, great environment in the gym, has a great place, knowledgeable. You have injuries or something, knows how to work around them, and you still get in a ridiculous workout. I don't know about you, Shamit, but it basically floors me every day. It's brutal, but I'm addicted now.
It is, yeah. The first few times that I started going there, I was humbled very, very quickly.
Yep.
And now it's I know what to expect, but it I want to say it gets easier, but it really doesn't, because it's it allows you to scale up however difficult you need it to be. So as better you get, you want to try more, and then when you try more, it gets tougher. So there's always a challenge.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. It is. And then you got to be humble. These women are kicking my butt. I was flipping one off today because I got like 35 on the bar and she's putting a 45 on. I'm like, really? But you got to check the ego at the door, man. I'm joking. I love the community. It's great.
Absolutely. Yeah, definitely recommend people check it out.
Don't you wish the Pelicans and Saints were run like stackedcoaching.com?
Maybe there'd be fewer injuries.
God, man, it's mind-blowing. Pelicans and Saints injuries just the last few years. I mean, when people, sometimes I think this is like conspiracy theory stuff, but like when it's like, man, don't have the right people taking care of these teams. I mean, there has to be something. I don't know, something's in the water.
Yeah. Whoever figures it out is going to be a very rich person, because they keep hiring new people to do it, and no one's quite gotten to the bottom of it.
Shamit, arguably the Saints are the worst team in the NFL, and arguably the Pelicans are the worst team in the NBA. How did we get here?
That is a loaded question, but I think in summary, it flows up to the top, and then that's ownership. And I think ownership just isn't tuned to what is required to be a successful franchise in either league, the NFL or the NBA. And ownership has delegated a lot of management and operational responsibilities to people below her, like Dennis Lauscha, Mickey Loomis, Greg Bensel, and now Joe Dumars, who they consider as one of them. And these people, frankly, I think they are just not with it when it comes to the level of attention to detail and, frankly, monetary expenditure that is required to have successful franchises. And you can change the coaches all you want. You can, bring in new minds or whatever. But until that top level foundation remains the way it is, it's going to be difficult to have sustainable long-term change unless they luck into Hall of Fame level talents like, obviously like Drew Brees was.
And Sean Payton. Like you needed the dynamic duo, because then Peyton's the GM, the president, everything.
Exactly.
So you're saying they're tight. They're not spending the money necessary to have a solid NFL or NBA team.
Yeah, I think that's part of it, right? So I can speak more on the Pelicans here. So the Pelicans are one of two teams that have never paid the NBA luxury tax, and every single team in the NBA that's ever won a championship has paid the luxury tax either the season they won it or the season right before or after,
Wow.
right around it.
Wow.
Now, the one exception that's gearing up to be right now is Oklahoma City Thunder, because they're such a young team and they've done, quite frankly, an unprecedented job of accumulating assets and flexibility like no other team has ever had in history. But, every other team in the NBA has been in this position where they pay that luxury tax. That's for starters. Secondly, when they hired Joe Dumars, they specifically instructed him to start reducing costs, because when David Griffin was in charge, he pushed them to spend like an NBA team, and they still weren't up at the average level of expenditure, but they were spending more than they ever had previously with Dell Demps. That is all gone now. There's no David Griffin there to push them to make quality of life improvements. I mean, I think there was a post today on Twitter or X where, a fan had detailed that they don't have any promotional nights for fans anymore. And if you look at their marketing calendar, it's empty. If you look at their ticket sales emails, they have crude like Microsoft Paint style drawings of giveaways that were actually from last year. There's a complete lack of effort being put in here. And I think part of it obviously is that, hey, the same marketing team that works for the Saints also works for the Pelicans. They wear two hats, but it's one it's like one person doing two jobs.
Yeah.
And that applies to all their salespeople and all their marketing people. And right now, obviously, the priority is the Saints, who are also not good at all.
Yeah, I think that's always going to be the priority. I've often said that's a problem with, it's not Gail Benson. It's the Saints own the Pelicans. That says it all right there. When someone would say it that way, and everyone in town says it that way. That's why I was so bummed that Schwest didn't get the team, just because it would have been two different owners. It would have been two different, setups. It would have been competing against each other for ticket sales. It would have made each team better. But I think the Pels are always going to be second fiddle to the Saints, always, forever. And I don't think there's ever a way to change that mindset, Shamit. There's no way they're going to be separate but equal. There's no way. Impossible.
No, yeah, you're right. It is going to be impossible to untangle that unless they go through a sale where they specifically sell off one team to one owner and another team to the other owner, which is not in their plans as of this moment.
Plus, a decade ago, it's a $350 million franchise. Now it's like $2.3 billion or something ridiculous. Like, who can afford that around New Orleans?
Yeah, exactly. But, I have heard there have been multiple willing buyers that have approached them, and they have been turned away. And these buyers, to my understanding, were willing to keep the team in New Orleans. Now, obviously, everyone says that stuff when they want to buy something. But, that is my understanding. There have been people who have wanted to buy the Pelicans, have talked to them, and have been turned away. And I think, honestly, Dennis Lasha has been on record saying that. I think he had an interview with NOLA.com about like the inheritance plan. I think in that plan, he also mentioned this as well.
No, I mean, if you buy the Pelicans for $2 billion and you move them to Seattle, they're worth $4 billion. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
It's like, you could even go to Kansas City and they're going to be worth more. I mean, there's so many. You go to Mexico City, $5 billion. I mean, sky's the limit. I mean, you go to international market, London or something, it's out of control. I mean, that's why London wanted Jacksonville so bad. That's why Toronto wants the Bills. It's just has to be protection on that. Shamit Dua is with us. Hey, I say on X at Fear the Brown. Where else can folks check out your stuff, Shamit? And where have you been? I know you've been doing this for a little while.
Sure. Yeah. To be honest, I've been posting on Blue Sky more so than X. So it's the same handle at Fear the Brown. And I have a Substack at In the Know. So inthenoknow.substack.com. I think that's where you can find all of my writing, and I'll post the podcast there as well. So that's where people can find me.
Used to get Frank Brightson on the show on Fridays. His tagline was brown means flavor. I was like, man, for food, for people, I like that. That's pretty good.
It's a unique take. I like that.
Yeah. Hey, I got a two-part question for you, and I know you kind of just answered both of them, but arguably the Saints, arguably the Pelicans, worst teams in the NBA, NFL, respectively, are the franchises too. Kind of just real quick on both parts.
Yeah, so I think the answer to that is more yes than it is no. And it all boils down to, one, obviously you're seeing the product on the floor for both of these organizations. You know, they're not winning games, and the Pelicans specifically are losing by historical margins. They are the first team to have amassed 3 30-point losses in the first 6 games
Wow.
of the season.
In
So
NBA history.
In NBA history. And the NBA has been on a long time.
Yeah, you don't want
And
those
so-
kind of records.
No, it is a new level of futility. And so they are objectively the worst team in the NBA right now. And as far as ownership goes, it's hard to argue otherwise. Again, it goes back to the level of investment in the organizations. We still don't have any clarity on the Pelicans' lease situation with the Smoothie King Center. They are set to expire in 2029. And the only statement that we got from the organization was when they hired Joe Dumars. In the press release, they had a little throwaway line that said they're going to make the Smoothie King Center the best arena in the NBA. And that's all, right? Right now, it has multiple systems that have reached the end of their functional life.
Yeah.
You know, they keep the IT department in a room without an AC. You know what I mean? So it is like, objectively, there are college arenas that are better than this place. I mean, the Birmingham G League arena is better than the Smoothie King Center. So it just kind of shows you the level of care that they've put into this team. And to me, they care a great deal about the fact that it's been an amazing return on investment, and the NBA's money redistribution rules allows them to be cash positive by the end of the year.
Sure.
You know, and so I think that's been really good for them, lining their pockets. But has it been a good return for fans?
Yeah,
no.
yeah.
Has it been a good return for players? No.
Yeah, no, exactly. Hang on one second, Shamit. We're going to take a quick break. Corey Johnson with you on a Monday. Shamit Dua is with us, talking Pels.
Ladies and
Saints.
gentlemen, in this Lamarck Automotive Complex, there's something called Quick Lane. Tires, wheel alignments, struts, servicing your transmission. We do in all makes and models. It doesn't have to have been purchased from us. It's for you. It handles your lifestyle with your budget in mind. And we want to get you in and out as quick as possible. Quick Lane, you got to come see it. You're going to love the experience. Right there at Williams Boulevard in Kenner.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
South Shore residents that love good food are making the short trip across the lake to Gallagher's 527 in Mandeville. North Shore folks have known about Gallagher's 527 for years. Now the South Shore has discovered this hidden gem. One of the metro area's best restaurants is less than 30 minutes away. Take the quick trip across the lake and experience Gallagher's 527 in Mandeville. As good as it gets.
Isn't it time to have that dream backyard you've always wanted? LGD Lawn and Landscapes can make it happen with artificial turf installation. Synthetic turf gives you the look and feel of natural grass. You get a beautiful lawn without the ongoing expenses of maintenance and no puddles, meaning you won't be tracking grass or dirt into the house. Let LGD come to your house and give you a free estimate. NOLALGD.com.
In New Orleans, we don't eat to live. We live to eat.
More is better.
Scott Craig of Katie's.
That is our slogan. More is better at Katie's. It means more of everything. Not just more food, more smiles, more friendship, more love, more. When you do something, you have to do it right. It's all about more, and it's all more of the good things.
Get more at Katie's Restaurant in Mid-City.
Tired of cleaning your gutters? Improve the value and look of your home with Leaf Guard gutters. And you'll never have to clean your gutters again. Ever. I guarantee it. Let Audubon Gutters install Leaf Guard gutters today. You'll improve the look and value of your home. And right now is the perfect time during Audubon Gutters' 99-cent installation sale. Call 469-6494 now.
Get out of that gutter and get on the phone. At Audubon Gutters.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
Hey, Marigny, Bywater, Treme, French Quarter, CBD, Warehouse District, Garden District, Irish Channel. It's Corey Johnson on the neutral ground, where New Orleans is heard.
Shamit Dua is with us in this 4 o'clock hour, talking Pels primarily. That's what he does. He also knows some Saint stuff too. Had a great article today. Where can folks find that piece you wrote today, Shamit?
They can find it at in the NO at substack.com.
In the NO at substack.com. Nice. Hey, is Joe Dumars the answer? I'm laughing when I ask you that question. And that's sort of telling.
It's the answer to
Yeah, life in general. No, I'm kidding. Like the Pels, running the Pelicans organization.
Yeah, look, I think they hired Dumars with the intent of bringing in a voice that's going to be respected across the league and is going to help them maintain a level of competency, because he's been an NBA lifer. He's been in the NBA league office. He's won championships as a player and exec. So I think they being the ownership, their thought process was, this guy has been around the block. There's no way, he can really mess things up. We're going to bring him. We trust him. Unfortunately for them, Dumars' last stint as a lead decision maker in Detroit, his last 6 years there were some of the 6 worst years that an exec has ever had in this league. And he really didn't get an opportunity beyond that for good reason. So he'd been out of the game for a while. So they bring him in. He brings in Troy Weaver, who was also in Detroit and who also had a 4-year stint that was disastrous, culminating in a 14-win season in the final year of his time there, where they had almost a record-setting losing streak. So I think the intent was probably fine and good, but the execution of it has been bad. And I don't think Dumars right now is the right man for the job, simply because of the way he's empowered Troy Weaver. And Weaver has traded their future pick unprotected for a draft prospect that he was very much obsessed with, someone that he had scouted very closely in person. And I just don't think that the people that they are elevating have a really good understanding of the risk and rewards when it comes to building NBA teams and managing assets and managing the salary cap. They might be, and I think to be completely fair, might be really good at evaluating individual talent coming out of college. Like Jeremiah Fears looks like he's going to be very good. And by all accounts, the Troy Weaver has had successful draft hits. And I think that's something that they're going to be able to look back on and be like, okay, we drafted Fears. This is great. This is awesome. But there's so much more that goes into being a successful lead decision maker for an NBA team. And a lot of that is just understanding how the league works when it comes to asset management and salary cap management and analytics and all of the nerdy numbers stuff that gives all of these teams competitive edges. And I think the Pelicans just lacking in empowering the voices that can enable that here.
Joe Dumars seems like a Bill Belichick at North Carolina type thing. But even worse, like, Belichick, you could go back a few years ago and he had success with Brady. It's just been the last few he's had a drop off, like you mentioned. I mean, Dumars had 6 years of terrible leadership in Detroit. No team wants him. He's in the NBA office. No team wants him still. And the Pels go yank him out of the NBA office instead of getting a coveted young up and comer.
And beyond that, they don't have any kind of interview process, right? It is decided that it's going to be Joe Dumars before even David Griffin is fired. There's no facade of, well, we did a deep search and we thought that this is going to be the best guy and yada yada yada. And I was like, they told you in the press release that he's one of us. He is someone that ownership group is very, very close friends with, and they consider him to be one of them. And so that's what it is, unfortunately.
No, and I think it's like you were saying earlier, it's like not that the initial salary is a savings, but some young up and comer that's successful is going to want more money. And Dumars, I think, is like manageable as a person, manageable with salary, all of that. He's not
Well,
coveted.
you know,
He's
you
not
know
coveted.
What's surprising about this is they opened the purse for Dumars. They are paying him far more than David Griffin ever made. And I think the initial whispers around this was somewhere around 5 years, $50 million. Now, I was told
Wow.
that's not the exact amount, but
Wow.
it's in the ballpark. And so they are paying Dumars more than they've paid
That's
any Pelicans
crazy.
executive.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
Then it must be
is.
just a control thing. I don't get that. And why would you pay him that much money when he's coming out of the NBA office? So that doesn't make sense to me.
I'm with you. And maybe they thought that, there were some rumors that the Sacramento Kings, who are not exactly a model franchise themselves, were after Joe Dumars. Maybe they thought that they had to get this deal done before Sacramento pounced. But either case, they are not being shy in their investment in Dumars. And to me, that signals that he's here basically as ownership proxy. He is the de facto owner of the Pelicans in the sense that they don't ever want to make any critical decisions regarding this team again. They just have given him a set of guidelines to work with. Don't ever get into the luxury tax. Make sure you hang on to Willie Green here for a little bit. Make sure you cut costs, these type of things, and make sure you're competitive. Make sure there's no bottoming out. There's no rebuild. And so they're like, here's the money, you take care of it. We do not want to think about it again. And that's their approach, frankly, because they were tired of Zion Williamson being in the headlines all the time in the David Griffin era. They were tired of the news getting back to Miss Benson, and they just decided that, nope, Dumars is here to insulate them and just kind of babysit this multi-billion-dollar organization.
Shamit Dua is with us on the neutral ground. Corey Johnson with you till 6. Hey, should Willie Green have been let go today?
Yeah, honestly, there's no good reason for him to not have been let go today. He has unfortunately lost the support of the players, and that was not just this season. It happened in the past, and he didn't do anything this season to regain it. Now that they're back from this road trip, they had a really good opportunity to do it today, setting themselves up for perhaps winnable games against Charlotte and Dallas coming up with a new coach, maybe to get that new coach bounce. And for whatever reason, it looks like they've decided not to do that. And I think that is a mistake. I think the longer they drag this out, the worse it becomes for the players, the fans, and frankly for Willie Green and his family as well, because I think everybody knows the writing is on the wall. Everybody knows this is coming, and it's just a matter of timing. And the longer you drag this out, the more disrespectful it is to Willie Green and his family, because they got to make a decision on their future too, And I think he's young enough to where he can recover in his career moving forward, but the longer this lingers, the worse it gets for him. So I just don't understand what the holdup is here.
Weren't you saying in your piece that he should have been let go a while back? Like, before training camp, it takes a while to bring in a new system. The players weren't, responding to him. Wasn't that in your piece, I think?
Yeah, absolutely. Look, the training camp is such a critical part of installing a new system offensively and defensively, and getting players to buy in. The teams are 0-0 at that point, so they haven't lost a game, and they're full of this belief that, hey, this could be the season where anything can happen. And as soon as players realize, oh no, this is still going to be the coach, it's still the same system, it's the system that we don't really agree with, that belief that of something larger than themselves is just never there from the get-go. And so when games start and they first meet adverse conditions, that they're not going to respond well. They're not going to want to run through the wall for their coach. And it also just doesn't give, if you let's say you replace him next week or in a month or whenever you replace him, then the interim that you're going to promote, most likely James Borrego, it doesn't give him an opportunity to set in his system. And he kind of has to do things on the fly, and in a very busy NBA season where there's limited practice time and guys are hurt and they're not practicing and all this kind of stuff. So it's not really necessarily fair to that guy either. But I think the ownership group, again, when it comes to like pinching pennies here, it's a lot cheaper to fire a coach mid-season and promote an interim than it is to fire one in the offseason and run a whole search and hire a new guy. And, that guy's going to want some money to be the coach of the New Orleans Pelicans and all that. So, it's just a really unfortunate situation.
Speaking of unfortunate, my God, it's year 7 of Zion Williamson, right? Year 7, right?
Yes.
Yeah, closing in on a decade of nothingness. Nothing to show for it except heartache. Isn't the right move to try to get this guy healthy, obviously, play him for a couple of months, and ideally he's playing great ball and kicking butt, and then right when everybody in town seems very comfortable with him, finally you trade him at the top of his game, and you're never getting what you want to get. It's not going to be a Anthony deal where you had a viable all-star. It's an often injured player that has potential to be great. You find the right team that is already a winner and feels this guy's like the third, all-star piece to get him over the top. He's healthy. He's playing great. You get rid of him. I don't give a crap if he's averaging 30, a triple-double. You want that, and then you trade him immediately, right?
Yeah, look, I mean, to your point, I think they tried to trade him. I think that was one of the mandates that Miss B had for Dumars. I think ownership is also very done with Zion Williamson. I don't think that's a secret here. But they found out that he had no market. No one wanted him because of his inconsistent health issues, and some of it due to his own off-court decision-making. And so they were faced with this reality of, okay, well, there's no market. We just traded our first-round pick unprotected, so we can't just cut him as a contract. You got to try to rebuild his value. And so, that's what Dumars, in my opinion, pitched to them is, hey, well, I can't move him right now. Let us get him healthy. Let us give him a shot to prove that he can do something. And then once he's on the court for a sustainable period of time, then teams are going to start calling, and then we can make something shake. But, let's see if we get to that point. I do agree that is probably the best way moving forward, simply because, as you said, it's been 7 years of trying to make something work here, and it's not working. And if he's this MVP level player that folks talk about, they shouldn't be 0-6 at the moment.
What do you think you can get for Zion Williamson? If he had like a good month, where it's like, the NBA player of the month in December, what can you get for him in the first week of January?
I would hope at least one interesting young prospect, some salary relief, and a couple nice draft picks. That would be great. But I might be being too optimistic there. I think
at least a starter and a number one pick, right?
That'd be fantastic.
A starter and a number one
with some
pick.
upside. Someone with some upside,
Yeah, exactly. Younger than Zion, like a 22, 23-year-old that's averaging double digits and looks like he's only going to get better.
Yeah. Like the best situation would be if someone, you luck into the Indiana Pacers style trade where they traded Domantas Sabonis for Tyrese Halliburton, and Sabonis was the elder, more veteran player, the more established all-star, and Halliburton had not established anything yet, but they've identified him as the guy that, hey, this guy has potential.
Yeah,
we're not really going to worry about any draft capital. We're gonna take Halliburton. That's the guy we want.
Hey, we're coming right back. More with Shamit Dua. Don't move, New Orleans.
The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, it's open now. We fix cars and trucks. We do all makes and models. And it doesn't have to be a Ford or a Lincoln. It could be whatever you're driving. 32,000 square feet under roof, now open at 3101 Williams Boulevard. It's all about you, the customer, getting the most for your dollar. I would say the most perfect collision center anywhere. The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, 3101 Williams Boulevard. Go check it out.
Word is, one of the best restaurants in New Orleans isn't even in New Orleans. Gallagher's 527 in Mandeville. Cross the lake and taste what you're missing. Tuesday through Saturday, Gallagher's 527 in Mandeville.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes are magazine, as unique as you.
When USA Today ranked the 10 best must-visit New Orleans restaurants for travelers, Mid-City's own Katie's made the list. USA Today says Scott Craig is chef-owner at Katie's, a much-loved Creole-Italian eatery that draws armies of regulars for lunch, brunch, and dinner. A neighborhood spot where locals congregate and New Orleans-style hospitality rules. Indeed it does. Katie's in Mid-City.
Artificial turf custom golf putting greens. Beautiful, functional, zero maintenance. Call New Orleans' own LGD Lawn and Landscapes and get your free estimate.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
Trey Yen in Mandeville, a New Orleans tradition for over 40 years, serving the finest Louisiana-inspired Chinese cuisine. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Trey Yen.
Tired of cleaning your gutters? Improve the value and look of your home with Leaf Guard gutters, and you'll never have to clean your gutters again, ever. I guarantee it. Let Audubon Gutters install Leaf Guard gutters today. You'll improve the look and value of your home. And right now is the perfect time during Audubon Gutters' 99-cent installation sale. Call 469-6494 now.
Get out of that gutter and get on the phone. At Audubon Gutters.
90 minutes of fun.
I'm funny how? I be funny like I'm a clown, I amuse you.
Every weekday afternoon on Cox Channel 4 and Spectrum Channel 333 from 4 p.m. to 5:30.
The New Orleans Saints are 1-8, arguably the worst team in the National Football League. The New Orleans Pelicans 0-6, arguably the worst team in the NBA. Shamit Dua is with us. Hey, Shamit, how isolated is Gail Benson? And it seems like maybe she doesn't get the full story. I look at this Colts owner, and obviously, there's an age difference. I think this lady's around 50. She's got on the headset on the sideline. I loved it in the preseason. The men's club just ripping her, can't listen in, all this. I'm like, what do you mean she owns the team? She can do whatever the hell she wants. And just her answers like, I want to know if the wide receiver was running the wrong route or if the coach called the wrong play in that coverage. I'm like, damn. So this lady is engaged. She's younger and she's focused and whatever. I'm not saying Gail Benson didn't focus. I think Gail Benson's focused on philanthropy and owning these two, franchises, these monopolies that, keep increasing dramatically in value each and every year with the rest of the NBA and NFL respectively. Is she isolated, insulated? Is she getting the full story? Is she locked in like Tom Benson was, especially when Tom Benson had Jim Finks? Is she locked in like this Indianapolis Colts owner, or is she kind of off in her own space and there's a kind of protection around her with, maybe Dennis Lauscha, Mickey Loomis, Greg Bensel, that type of thing?
I think she is very insulated and very protected from all of this. I think you see people crying on social media about the state of the teams and all of that. Like, none of that is reaching her, right? Unless it's being printed in the newspaper and then being talked ad nauseum at a national level, it's really not reaching her. And even then, it's really well protected.
I don't know if she knows what a cornerback is or a two guard, much less anything on social media. If you said, Substack or Twitter, I don't think she'd have any idea what any of that is, really. I mean, I think she'd know it's social media, but no way how to access it or never has looked at it.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. And with regards to the NBA, like, I don't think she has any clue. And not just her. I mean, I don't think Dennis Lauscha and Greg Bensel and Mickey Loomis, the people making decisions on who to keep around or who to hire as their lead, basketball decision makers. I don't think they have any clue what it takes to be a successful NBA team or even how to run an NBA team. And I think part of that requires admission on their part, and going out and hiring people that might know how to do it. And again, going back to our previous conversation, maybe that was their intent behind bringing in Joe Dumars, because they figured he's a lifer and he can handle all of that. But they don't have the wherewithal to know that Dumars basically ran the Pistons into the ground before he was let go there, right? He had 6 years of trying to build a team that was going against the grain of NBA trends, and just not keeping up with the times, and he was handing out bad contracts, and they didn't know that, he was out of touch. So I don't think that's something that even like clocks or registers for them. But with regards to this Willie Green stuff, I think that Gail Benson, she is very appreciative of the fact that Willie Green is a man of faith, and that's something she really respects. And I think that's something they have mutually bonded over. I don't think she has any clue that the players are not responding to Willie, or, like if you want to get into the X's and O's of it, the Pelicans aren't taking threes where the entire NBA are taking threes now and things of that nature. I just don't think that's on her radar in any capacity.
I don't think the Pelicans have 5 quality starters, and I don't think they have much depth at all. And that's just my opinion. I want to get your take. But more so than the X's and O thing, I just think it's going to be a little bit of a rebuild for both franchises. Like, it's going to take a while. It's not college football with NIL. The question for you, Shamit, will the fans stick around? I mean, I worry mostly about the Pelicans. Will the fans stick around? And if not, is there a risk the Pelicans could move?
The fans will always be around to support a team that wins and a team that cares. But if this is the product that both teams are putting out there, then no. And the Saints and the Pelicans, they are experiencing that by way of fans not renewing their season tickets, fans not buying tickets when they go out for sale, sponsors not willing to purchase agreements and sponsor events or, buy suites and things of that nature. They are hurting financially from those things. And again, I just don't think they have clocked it. It's because of their just incompetence in running these organizations and building teams that are competitive. Now, with regards to relocation, they have the lease coming up for the Smoothie King Center in 2029. That's really the thing that ties the team to the city, to the stadium. We kind of talked about how the Smoothie King Center is just really not up to par here.
Yep.
So they have to make a decision on that one, and they have to do it rapidly. And they're going to need the help of the state to even do something there. And I'm not sure the state, kind of seeing how things are playing out with LSU right now, right? But I'm not sure the state is going to be willing to assist them or cut them a sweetheart deal as they've received in the past. There's a lot of agreements that go on that some people's backs get scratched in these big leasing agreements, and the assistance from the state when they chip in tax dollars to help fund arenas and renovations. But I just don't know if they're going to get a favorable deal when it comes time to it. And I don't know if that means finally they're going to be like, okay, we just got to sell the team because we don't have a solution, or if it's just going to be something where it's like a 3-4 year extension where they kind of figure out if they need to find buyers or figure out what the next plan are.
I mean, I'm just talking, just an opinion. Gail Benson sells the team, say, to like Todd Graves. Raising Cane's guys worth $22 billion.
Mm-hmm.
I just think it'd be good for everybody. Like, this guy would take it on as his own baby, so they'd get better. They'd be competitive. They'd push the Saints to be better and competitive. And then Gail Benson would have, a few $1 million to start her philanthropy thing early. I mean, like, when I die, the Saints are sold, the Pelicans are sold, the money goes to the city. It's like, start it now. So I don't know, option for Graves to buy the Saints in the future. There's that, Fertitta guy in Houston says he loves the Saints and would keep him in New Orleans, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah. And not just Graves. Again, like I said, there's been other prospective buyers, and I think that's been the pitch from them. It's like, hey, you have this elaborate plan of, okay, after you pass away, the proceeds from the sales of each team are going to go to all these charities. They're going to go to all this philanthropy. That's great. Why not be alive to see that? Why not be at the ribbon cutting ceremony or the groundbreaking ceremony and just spend the rest of your time just really cementing your legacy as a big philanthropist and someone that's really helped the community of Louisiana, as opposed to someone who's destroyed two well-loved franchises.
No, and focus on the one that you really love the most, the Saints.
Yeah,
and you don't have to worry about this B team in your portfolio.
Yeah, you're gonna have $3.5 billion to do whatever you need to do.
Shamit, how can folks check you out online on social media?
Yeah, you can follow me at Fear the Brown on X or on Blue Sky, or you can find me on Substack at intheknow.substack.com.
Shamit, a pleasure, man. Let's do it again.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Shamit Dua joining us. Corey Johnson coming right back.
You're on the neutral ground with Corey Johnson on TV on Cox Channel 4 and Spectrum Channel 333. Also on YouTube, on radio at NOLA Talk 93.9 FM, WSLA New Orleans.
It's 5 p.m.
Ford F-150, #1 seller in America. What about in the USA? Let's see, what about in the world? Who sells more trucks than Ford? Nobody. It's because the Lamar team is the real team. All that makes it happen is one goal. Everybody having a great experience at Lamar Ford. We became #1 for a reason, because we're good. And we need to prove it every day, every deal, all the time.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralox, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralox technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralox is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's right. Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and delivery. Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com. My Sittu, that's Arabic for grandmother, used to make the best football kibbe. You can experience kibbe just like my grandmother used to make, and so many other Middle Eastern favorites on the streetcar line. Lebanon's Cafe.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes are magazine, as unique as you.
Total maintenance keeps you cool. Total maintenance keeps you cool. Total maintenance keeps you cool. TM-AC.com, your cool spots. Total maintenance keeps you cool. TM-AC.com, your cool spots.
South Shore residents that love good food are making the short trip across the lake to Gallagher's 527 in Mandeville. North Shore folks have known about Gallagher's 527 for years. Now the South Shore has discovered this hidden gem. One of the metro area's best restaurants is less than 30 minutes away. Take the quick trip across the lake and experience Gallagher's 527 in Mandeville. As good as it gets.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
Isn't it time to have that dream backyard you've always wanted? LGD Lawn and Landscapes can make it happen with artificial turf installation. Synthetic turf gives you the look and feel of natural grass. You get a beautiful lawn without the ongoing expenses of maintenance and no puddles, meaning you won't be tracking grass or dirt into the house. Let LGD come to your house and give you a free estimate. NOLALGD.com.
In New Orleans, we don't eat to live. We live to eat.
More is better.
Scott Craig of Katie's.
That is our slogan. More is better at Katie's. It means more of everything. Not just more food, more smiles, more friendship, more
He's been doing this for a few decades. Knowledgeable, journalism background, lots of opinions, not scared to rock the boat when necessary. What I like about Scott, I don't think, some people might go, Scott's just looking to cause crap or stir the pot. I totally disagree. I think he sees things that deserve to be critiqued, and he has no problem critiquing them. And I think a lot of sports media in town, first off, it's sports. It's not news. It's not do or die. They have relationships with like executives and players, and they don't want to rock the boat. They don't want their credential taken away and things like that. I don't think Shamit Dua or Scott Kushner, I don't think they're worried about that for a minute. You want to take my credential away? Here's my credential. I'll buy a ticket and go watch from the stands. I don't think those guys would be too affected. Anyway, Shamit Dua joined us in the 4:00 hour. Scott Kushner's coming up in just a few minutes. After the fact, you can always check it out on YouTube. Corey Johnson, The Neutral Ground on YouTube. Click to subscribe to our YouTube channel. It doesn't cost anything. Show's also live on X, a.k.a. Twitter. Boy, LSU is going to choose a new president tomorrow. Why is it painfully obvious that the president of McNeese State simply is not qualified for the job? I mean, it's about a 99% shot, just simply the president of McNeese State. That's your resume. That's your latest and greatest. You're not qualified to be the LSU president unless you're something special and some other major player, another major university covets you and is coming after you. I don't think anyone's going after the McNeese State president to run their university. But it's Jeff Landry's boy, and he wants to appoint his boy as the LSU president. Here's the scary part. The McNeese State athletic director might come as part of the deal. If LSU is hiring the McNeese State athletic director and you love LSU athletics, it's a major problem. Pretend you love LSU academics too and realize that the McNeese State president becoming the LSU president is absolutely insane. But Jeff Landry loves control. He controls every state board and commission of significance. He not only appoints the members, he appoints those that run the board. It's crazy. No, he is a power freak. He is a power-hungry freak, our governor. Loves controlling everything. Total control freak. No, if tomorrow the McNeese State guy gets promoted instead of two legitimate candidates, it'll be a very disappointing day for LSU. A major move backwards. Simply put, this McNeese State president and this McNeese State athletic director have no business at LSU. Have no business at LSU. If that's the best you can do, then you suck. If LSU is going to hire the McNeese State president to become the LSU president and the McNeese State athletic director to become the LSU athletic director, that is a nightmare. Poor LSU. LSU fans, voice your opinion. Don't let Governor Landry do this. Get the best available. Scour the country. Get the best available. This is LSU. You don't hire the McNeese State AD, the McNeese State president to run LSU and LSU athletics respectively. That's ridiculous. Be pissed off about it. Crazy. No, Jeff Landry he's a ULL grad. He has no love for LSU. None. Proof's in the McNeese State president could become the president of LSU. It's laughable. McNeese State in Lake Charles. LSU wouldn't hire any coach from McNeese to be the head coach of any sports program at LSU. None. None. Well, maybe Will Wade for basketball. And supposedly that's part of the reason Scott Woodward got ousted. Jeff Landry a year ago or 2 years ago, rehire Will Wade. And Scott Woodward's like, no shot. Sticking with my guy, McMahon, who has struggled. LSU basketball men's side picked 15th in the league of 16. How far the mighty have fallen. No, Will Wade's going to kick butt and take names at NC State. But that's not Jeff Landry's position, to tell the AD to do this that he doesn't like in the first place. And then when the AD says no, he fires him essentially down the line. Now, LSU, A week ago today, the LSU job opening, the most coveted in college football. As the week progressed and Jeff Landry got involved, it became a laughing stock nationally. That's just not good. That's not good. Sickening. Lewis Stables in Slidell, a tragic fire. 9 horses died in that fire. No, it's just beyond sickening, tragic. They had a family, husband and wife. They had like 4 horses there. They all died. I saw on Twitter, it's not AI generated. I don't know if you saw this, Mario. A guy riding an airfoil, like the surfboard type thing that it has like a smaller surfboard underneath and a motor, and it lifts up you're like 2 feet above the water.
Yeah.
He's in the Mississippi River riding it by the Butterfly.
Okay.
No, okay. Like drown time next.
Yeah, no, that's not.
The currents are running in. Oh, watch the Mississippi River from the Butterfly the next time you're there. Like 20 yards out, it'll be going downriver. Past that, it'll be going upstream. It's just, you can't swim across. I don't care if you're, I was going to say Mark Spitz. Who's another swimmer? Who's the big Olympic guy, most medals?
Michael Phelps.
Michael Phelps. Michael Phelps can't swim across the Mississippi River. Maybe he can. Maybe not, though. Maybe not. It's treacherous. This guy's on a airfoil on the Mississippi River. Just insane. Crazy. Hey, Scott Kushner's joining us next. Hey, this isn't crazy. Yesterday, I was there with my brother and my mom, Lebanon's Cafe. I got a lot left over. Chicken shawarma, fried kibbe, tabbouleh. You like lamb chops? You like shish kebab? All your favorite Middle Eastern sides. Carrollton at Jeanette by the streetcar barn. They're open till 9:30. Outdoor dining. Lebanon's Cafe tonight for dinner. Problem solved.
Total maintenance keeps you cool. TM-JC.com, your cool spots.
Word is, one of the best restaurants in New Orleans isn't even in New Orleans. Gallagher's 527 in Mandeville. Cross the lake and taste what you're missing. Tuesday through Saturday, Gallagher's 527 in Mandeville.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
Artificial turf custom golf putting greens. Beautiful, functional, zero maintenance. Call New Orleans' own LGD Lawn and Landscapes and get your free estimate. Young's Dry Cleaning, with 2 walk-up locations with personal service. Young's on Claiborne and Young's on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview. Young's Dry Cleaning. Call 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com. There's a Middle Eastern restaurant that's less than 5 minutes from where Causeway and River Road meet. Lebanon's Cafe. Convenient to Old Metairie and Old Jefferson. Carrollton at Jeanette on the streetcar line. Lebanon's Cafe.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, insagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, insagency.com.
Trey Yen in Mandeville, a New Orleans tradition for over 40 years, serving the finest Louisiana-inspired Chinese cuisine. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Trey Yen.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralox, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralox technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralox is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latram.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Scott Craig of Katie's Restaurant.
All of my ingredients are fresh. Nothing comes out of a can here. Nothing. All of our seafood is Louisiana. All of our vegetables are Louisiana vegetables. It's a neighborhood restaurant.
Katie's in Mid-City. Following the facts.
They've done studies, 60% of the time it works every time.
Corey Johnson.
Welcome back on a Monday afternoon, 5 o'clock power hour. The Pelicans are 0-6. The Saints are 1-8. Both teams are absolutely terrible. One could easily argue that they don't have NBA and NFL talent on each roster. Like when these teams improve, or if they improve in the next few years, it's going to take a little while. Most of these players won't be on these teams and won't be in these leagues. Scott Kushner joins us live on the neutral ground. How are you, Scott?
I'm all right, Corey. Just watching 6-year-old soccer practice. What could be finer?
Nah, nothing, man. That's awesome. Where are you at the Butterfly?
I am. It's a lovely little sunset here after daylight savings.
There was a video I saw. Some dude was on an airfoil in the river off the Butterfly earlier today. That's like a death wish, I think.
Yeah. That's really aggressive.
Yep. Hey, Scott, man, we go way back a few decades, right? Where did we first connect?
Back when I was covering Tulane and your buddies with the grass.
Yep.
And so it's been a minute. It's been great.
And you do that podcast with Polk, and I go, and I don't know him very well, but I know, his buddy Joe, who's a stand-up comic, and I met him a few decades ago when he was doing a lot of stand-up. I want to say Polk and Joe opened up for Louis C.K.,
right.
doing, and that was before the Louis C.K. scandal, which I guess is an appropriate topic because we know what he got busted for, and I'm wondering if the Pelicans and Saints are doing the same thing.
On the company time, yeah.
Wow.
I'm telling you, man, it's tough times on airline right now. I don't know if they even care or they notice, but it's hard to think of a worse day for that organization than yesterday. It was so clear what was happening with both of the organizations just watching at the same time.
Sunday, Bloody Sunday, Black Sunday, call it whatever you want. Both teams on at the same time. Saints, another loss. They're 1-8. Pels, 6 straight loss. More if you go back to last season. Yeah, these teams are, I'll ask you this question this way, a two-part. Arguably, the Saints are the worst team in the NFL. Arguably, the Pelicans are the worst team in the NBA. Do you believe that? And then the second part of the question is replace team with franchise.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you can really argue either position that they're not. Just the objective data. I mean, you can technically throw out other horrible teams and say, oh, then maybe they're as bad as these guys, but there's no hope in either franchise. Neither one has anything to really build around at the moment. I think the Pelicans is probably a little bit more pathetic based on the fact that they traded the first-round pick in a win-now move, and you can't even get within 30 points of the NBA champion who was sitting 3 starters in the game.
Wow.
And
wow.
It is just they're not anywhere in the same it's almost like they're competing in a different league sometimes when you watch these games. And it's not like they don't have talented players, but the talent doesn't mesh and the talent doesn't really seem to care. And when you don't have those things, we're really gone.
Sometimes I feel like the Saints organization, which is, the organization that owns the Pelicans too. Sometimes I feel like they're like, hey, we got one of 30 NBA teams. And every year it goes up hundreds of millions in value. And then we have one of 32 NFL teams. And every year they go up hundreds of million in value. And then Gail Benson's net worth goes up every single year. I almost think there's sort of a contentment with that. Like, we're a member of this club and that's great. And then that's period, end of sentence, and nothing more, instead of now we get a roster together, we get great coaches, and we win. I don't know about the second part so much.
No, well, that's not important to the value of the franchise. Being a member of the cartel is where the money comes from. It's not different than if you were to have invested in NVIDIA in 2017, right? And you could just sit on your hands and watch the NVIDIA stock go through the moon. But at the same time, you're running a failing restaurant. I mean, the two of them really have nothing to do with each other. The value of the franchise is because of the value of the league, and they're not making more teams, and therefore it can, to have the team, a new owner would not really care about the win-loss record. They would simply look at the value of what the league means, and that's pretty much where they're at right now. And that's why they're content, and they've been content. That's why they're not making radical wholesale changes in ways that are in a competitive landscape. Mickey Loomis going into his 24th year, and you've got Joe Dumars, who is their friend of 2-3 decades, running a team after he hadn't been sought by anybody in an extremely long time because he ran the Pistons directly into the ground. And it's unfathomable that if you're competitive, this is how you'd want to be running your team.
Scott Kushner's with us. Hey, Scott, why are Loomis and Lauscha essentially untouchable in your opinion?
They helped her get the team. I think that's all you really have to look at, right? There was a power struggle right around the end of Tom Benson's life, and it was between the grandchildren and Gail, and there was a struggle, went to court. There was lots of, you can read a whole lot about it. And basically the power structure that was in place at that time backed Gail and helped her get the team strategically. And I don't think she has any reason to run them off. You know, that those are her people. They helped her get to where she is. They literally made her billions of dollars. And so for that reason, until they want to leave, they're pretty much going to be there.
Kind of a obvious loyalty thing, which I guess you have to admire. But you only want that to go so far if the results aren't what you're looking for. Now, I don't know if the results are what she's looking for or not, but obviously winning is what you want, and these teams haven't been winning lately.
Yeah, and I guess so much of her, what seems to be, nobody really gets to her. We don't really get to ask her questions. Most of what she says is a prepared statement, or it's very rare you get her unvarnished, unfiltered. But it seems as if her primary concern is being beloved by the community. I can't think of a way for her to be less beloved by the community than running these teams out there every week. And the results that they're getting, not to mention the Superdome experience continues to be more expensive, more difficult, and nobody seems to be enjoying the product any better or enjoying her any better. And so I can't understand why she would want to sit by and watch this as she's giving, hundreds of millions of dollars to charity, and people will still not like her. There's no amount of money she can give away that will match the ire that she is creating by putting these teams out for public consumption.
Yeah, I would say, Scott, fan frustration is at a near all-time high. I mean, game two in the Dome earlier this year had as many Niner fans as Saints fans. I mean, Saints fans are selling their tickets on the secondary market. The rebuild for both franchises looks like it's going to take a while. I mean, it's not college football with the NIL. Will fans stick around? I worry most about the Pelicans, but will fans stick around? And if not, could the Pelicans be moving or something? What do you think?
Yeah, the biggest issue facing the Pelicans that doesn't seem to be getting a whole lot of news coverage is the fact that the arena lease only lasts for 4 more years. And so you've got a Smoothie King Center that it's not the worst building in the league. It's among the bottom 2 or 3, and you're doing nothing to it. Everything is still in place. It's a building that was built on spec in 1999.
Yep.
There's really the everything about it is completely outdated in the era of billion-dollar arenas, and there doesn't seem to be much love from Jeff Landry to want to do this thing, and there doesn't seem to be any will from the Benson organization to build it themselves. So where do you end up? You need to have a building or a lease or something in which to play. And if there's no fan support and there's, no product and there's no arena, I don't really know what you have. And so that, to me, is the most pressing issue. And it doesn't seem like it gets the coverage that's deserved because it is an existential threat to the NBA in this city.
I think I shouldn't say it's pretty safe to say. I'm sure there's some owners that spend a ridiculous amount of money and they win championships and they lose money and they're out to win championships. But I would say for the most part, if you invest in a team and they're successful and they're a playoff caliber team, you're going to make more money than if you have a crappy team. Are the Saints and Pelicans just looking at the value of the franchise strictly and not having much of an emphasis on making annual profits? I know that sounds insane, but the lack of investment arguably in the teams, I'm talking about coaches and high quality players, roster, I think you're making less money than if you invested money properly and had a winning franchise. What do you think?
There's probably truth to that. The model is different, however. It's kind of been this way in the NFL for a while, where as long as you put any team on television, you get a check for hundreds of millions of dollars from the league. And that is now the case for the NBA too.
Yep.
Where as long as you are part of the national television contract, only 50% of the revenue goes to players. The other 50% is for the team. And so it's almost impossible to lose money unless you are paying outrageous sums in the salary cap and overages and penalties. And the Pelicans are one of two teams that has never spent over the salary cap. And so they can't really lose at this stage. There was a time in the NBA where you did have to sell tickets and you did have to have a playoff games at home and things like that to really change the bottom line. That really is not the case as much anymore. The way that the leagues are set up, they sort of generate money on their own. And of course, like you mentioned, the valuation is going up regardless. So you'd make more money if by winning than losing. The fact is they're not going to really lose money unless some things go catastrophically wrong or you catastrophically overspend, which they are not ever going to be accused of in the NBA.
And then you don't have to put in the effort or the time or the stress and spend the money just to make a little bit more. You already got this guaranteed chunk.
Yeah. And so it's left the team in a really strange position where their incentives I don't think line up with where their customers' incentives are. And I think they're having, it's the rubber starting to meet the road.
Yep.
They're having trouble getting sponsors. They're having trouble retaining fans.
Yep.
And it's not going to get any better anytime soon.
Hey, Scott, I know you're watching your 6-year-old play soccer. Can you stick around one more segment or do you have to run?
I can stick around.
Perfect, man. We're going to take a quick break. Come right back. More with Scott Kushner. Don't move, New Orleans.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralox, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralox technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralox is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
There's a Middle Eastern restaurant that's less than 5 minutes from where Causeway and River Road meet, Lebanon's Cafe. Convenient to Old Metairie and Old Jefferson. Carrollton at Jeanette on the streetcar line, Lebanon's Cafe.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes on Magazine, as unique as you.
Trey Yen in Mandeville, a New Orleans tradition for over 40 years, serving the finest Louisiana-inspired Chinese cuisine. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Trey Yen. Isn't it time to have that dream backyard you've always wanted? LGD Lawn and Landscapes can make it happen with artificial turf installation. Synthetic turf gives you the look and feel of natural grass. You get a beautiful lawn without the ongoing expenses of maintenance and no puddles, meaning you won't be tracking grass or dirt into the house. Let LGD come to your house and give you a free estimate. NOLALGD.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, in this Lamarck Automotive Complex is something called Quick Lane. Tires, wheel alignments, struts, servicing your transmission. We do in all makes and models. It doesn't have to have been purchased from us. It's for you. It handles your lifestyle with your budget in mind. And we want to get you in and out as quick as possible. Quick Lane, you got to come see it. You're going to love the experience. Right there at Williams Boulevard in Kenner.
South Shore residents that love good food are making the short trip across the lake to Gallagher's 527 in Mandeville. North Shore folks have known about Gallagher's 527 for years. Now the South Shore has discovered this hidden gem. One of the metro area's best restaurants is less than 30 minutes away. Take the quick trip across the lake and experience Gallagher's 527 in Mandeville. As good as it gets.
This is a hell of a lot easier than when I delivered pizza in New Orleans. What the hell? We're all just blocking the street. We're all just blocking the street. Come on, I gotta deliver this pizza. We're all just blocking the street. Screw it. We won't stop blocking the street. Yeah, stop blocking the street.
You're on the neutral ground with Corey Johnson.
It was 47 degrees this morning on the South Shore in New Orleans. If you need air conditioning or heat help, they'll take care of you at Total Maintenance. Heat help, need the system tested. Maybe your heat's not working right. Total Maintenance is there. In New Orleans or Baton Rouge, if you need air conditioning or heat help, think Total Maintenance, tm-ac.com. Scott Kushner's with us. He's been at this for a few decades now. Scott, how can folks check out all the stuff you do? Best way to do it?
I like to rant and rave on X, Twitter, whatever, from time to time. It's Scott D. Kushner. And every now and again, when we feel like it, Polk and I put up an episode of Polk and Kush. And, I'm out of the media game for the most part, but it's always fun to dip your toe back in, especially when it feels like you need to say something that needs to be said.
Yep. No, today you said a few things that needed to be said. Let's see. I spent most of my last 4 years screaming at everyone. The folks running New Orleans two sports franchises are disastrously incompetent, relentlessly arrogant. Why are they disastrously incompetent? I guess the 0-6 and 1-8 answers that one. Why are they relentlessly arrogant? Why are they relentlessly arrogant, Scott?
Because these are the people who will never realize that they are part of the problem. And until that becomes clear, that what they are doing and the operation in which they have put in place there, nothing's going to change. And that includes the way that the CEO is running the business side. It includes the way that the public relations has beat up on the media here locally. It includes all of it. It is a poorly run organization, and certainly on the Saints side, Mickey Loomis's really complete lack of accountability, keeping his entire front office staff intact as they have gone from possibly the best roster in the NFL to probably the worst roster in the NFL over the course of 5 years is unfathomable. I don't think there's any other situation. There's no way Tom Benson would have allowed this to continue in the way that it has. And yet, for some reason, everyone over there remains completely bulletproof. And I can't, I don't think people really understand the full extent to what is occurring, but it is unfortunate. And the folks who take the brunt of it are those of us who, go sit in the Superdome and in the Smoothie King Center. And it's bad. It's a bad situation.
You also tweeted they hold the keys to access for the city's sports media, which is why when losses pile up, finger pointing starts at players and coaches rather than those actually steering the organization. What do you mean by that?
Well, you're not going to hear a lot about Dennis Lauscha or Greg Bensel or these guys who are making the decisions. When they hire Joe Dumars to run the show for the basketball team without conducting a search, it's because those are the people who are running the franchise. It's not Gail Benson making that decision. She doesn't have that, she's not that clued into that particular decision, but that cabal of 4 or 5 guys is absolutely the ones making the decisions, and they continue to make wrong decisions. And there's just no doubt. And I think the frustrating part is that David Griffin really looked like it was the start of a different era over there, because he was different. They paid him a lot of money to come over. He paid a bunch of money to come in. They were investing in the Pelicans and in the team in a way they never did for Dell Demps. I think the backlash and reaction they got from the Anthony Davis situation woke them up and rattled some cages. And unfortunately for Pelicans fans, David Griffin didn't succeed in doing the one thing he needed to do, which was win. And that, I think, sort of reinforced their idea that, hey, this is not a good investment on our end to go spend a whole bunch of money and get everything better. And so instead, you're back to this situation where they've got basically one of their friends inserted atop of the organization, and he's running them in a way which is entirely uncompetitive, at least at the moment.
And are you insinuating the local sports media won't be critical of Lauscha or Loomis?
They haven't to this point. It very rarely does it point to that direction, and it's not necessarily the individuals who are working in the media here. I don't think that's fair, and I'm certainly not trying to criticize their job or anything like that. But it is definitely true that Greg Bensel and the people who are running the public relations teams over there are not. They hear criticism, they see it, and they point it out, and they are. They're not just, they don't sit back and take it. It's not like a team in New York or something like that.
No, of course not.
Criticism, and they kind of just have to roll with it. It is very different here, for sure.
And I think there's still like a fear of losing a credential or losing access and a competitor getting the story and you not. I mean, I see that with LSU. I think the Saints, it's just sort of kind of small thinking Louisiana, New Orleans. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, there's some of that for sure. And if you don't play the game, you don't get the access that you want. And it's not just here, and it's not just the media here. It is true across a lot of small places. The difference here is that there's 2 teams in the city, and they're both owned by the same people and run by the same people. And so there's really there's no competition. It's a monopoly as far as that goes with access. And so you really can't say anything about either one of them because the people in charge are all the same. And that is, in some ways it was great to have Benson buy it because you've got that synergy, and Saints fans and Pelicans fans can kind of, if we're going to overlap anyway, you might as well have the shared ownership. Everybody's sort of invested in it together. But at the same time, this is the drawback of it: is when things are bad, they're bad simultaneously.
No,
they're very bad right now.
I wish West would have bought the team just so you have competition. Because here's another thing, Scott. I think the Saints. I'm serious. First off, the Pelicans will always be second to the Saints. They'll never be primary. They'll never be equal. They'll always be secondary. And I almost think. It's almost like it's a minor league team is the mentality. I think, the Saints are it. And if the Pels win, it could take away from the Saints. If we dedicate too much time to the Pels, it takes away from the Saints. Now, I wish there were a competing, ownership there, a different owner for the NBA franchise. Do you feel that's right, that the Saints are the primary thing and the Pelicans will always be secondary?
Well, that's true of the NFL to the NBA. It's true of the NFL to anything in this country. There's always going to be your primary.
But you don't have you don't have a lot of crossover owners, and it seems like when you do, they give a crap about the NBA team as much as the other team.
And very rarely do they share a parking lot. Yeah, that is definitely a conflict that exists, and certainly a feeling. And one of the things that they were trying so hard to address when they hired David Griffin, however many, 6 years ago, in the wake of the Anthony Davis thing, was they got criticized for sharing trainers. They got criticized. They really got embarrassed nationally, and they responded to it. And it just, when the investment did not immediately pay off, and David Griffin made plenty of mistakes from a basketball perspective. But what he did try to do was pull them into kind of the 21st century of, or at least, this decade when it comes to, hey, you got a $3 billion enterprise sitting here. Let's go ahead and upgrade some things and let's pay people to come across and bring talent in. And that just didn't last very long, because once you didn't win with that, it's very hard to justify that investment, particularly when you have a cash cow sitting across the street.
Scott Kushner's with us for a couple of more minutes. Scott, one could argue the Saints were only good because of Sean Payton and Breeze. The Pelicans have never been good. I mean, in Charlotte and in New Orleans, this organization has won one 7-game postseason series since it's existed. Just one. That's beyond embarrassing.
They've won 2. They won in 2008, and they won in 2017. Whatever they won one series with Anthony Davis and one series with Chris Paul. 2 Hall of Fame players, 2 top 75 all-time players. They each won one.
Yeah, what would they win? What was the Sacramento series, I guess, a few years ago?
They beat Portland.
Okay, Portland. And I thought the other one was still a best of 5 first round, but I might be mistaken. So it's 2.
Yeah, I think it was the first year it was 7 games against Dallas.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
okay.
It was either way. It's ancient history.
2?
What you're saying is not wrong.
2 7-game series. I mean, they're franchises that win 2 in a season. I mean,
yeah.
Geez, this is like 1990 or something between Charlotte and New Orleans.
Yeah, it's bad, and right now it doesn't feel like you can attract players to come to it. Every time you hear anything, it's from the national NBA media. It feels like it's negative, and certainly bringing in Joe Dumars, I don't think changed that reputation nationally, and didn't change it certainly from an NBA media perspective, and not from the players either. Especially, he came out and his thing was all about, we're going to hustle, we're going to play hard, you're not going to see us do these nonsense phrases and these nonsense, which is always welcome to hear, because it did feel like this team had gotten soft and coddled and all of those things. And they come out and get blown out more than any team has ever gotten blown out in the first 2 weeks of an NBA season. And you're going, all right, well, I don't think anybody is connecting to anything here. And they're just the words don't seem to connect to any measure of reality. And that is obviously a frustrating sentiment for everyone involved.
I think with both teams, it's kind of twofold. They suck, and it's going to be a while before they get better. Coupled with, one could argue, they don't even know where the tunnel is located, much less having a light at the end of it. Huh?
Yeah. And I think Rod Walker said it well today in the Picayune. He's like, if there's a light at the end of the tunnel, we can't see it.
Oh, I didn't even read that. I guess we're thinking on the same way.
Yeah. And that's where you're at right now. You don't really have anybody to build around in either of these two. And that's the real crime of the Pelicans right now, is that if they'd had a first round pick, it wouldn't take very long to convince people like, okay, first year of a new regime, you're going to get a top 3-4 draft pick. You can build from there and everything will be better. But they traded it.
Yeah.
They traded it for a pick in the teens. This year, they traded 2 possibly top 10 picks with the Pacers pick and their own pick to move up a couple of spots and get Derek Queen, who's not even playing. And that Willie Green basically said today, like, oh, we really don't have enough minutes at the 5. Well, it's like, well, it doesn't feel like there's any coordination between coaching staff and front office and ownership. Everything just feels like it's being done on an isolated move-by-move basis, and it's a frustrating series of events.
I think the Saints only have 5 picks next year in the draft.
Yeah, they traded a 4th-round pick for a guy who has 5 catches.
Wow, that's just hard to rebuild when you don't have the assets.
Exactly. Well, soccer practice is wrapping up here, Corey. I got to run, but I appreciate you having me on.
Hey, Scott, where can folks check you out online on social media?
On Twitter at Scott D. Kushner.
You're the man, Scott. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Corey.
That's Scott Kushner joining us. Corey Johnson back at you. 5 o'clock powwow. We're coming right back.
Changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralox, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralox technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralox is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Scott Craig of Katie's Restaurant.
All of my ingredients are fresh. Nothing comes out of a can here. Nothing. All of our seafood is Louisiana. All of our vegetables are Louisiana vegetables. It's a neighborhood restaurant.
Katie's in Mid-City.
Tired of cleaning your gutters? Improve the value and look of your home with Leaf Guard gutters. And you'll never have to clean your gutters again. Ever. I guarantee it. Let Audubon Gutters install Leaf Guard gutters today. You'll improve the look and value of your home. And right now is the perfect time during Audubon Gutters' 99-cent installation sale. Call 469-6494 now.
Get out of that gutter and get on the phone. At Audubon Gutters.
Word is, one of the best restaurants in New Orleans isn't even in New Orleans. Gallagher's 527 in Mandeville. Cross the lake and taste what you're missing. Tuesday through Saturday, Gallagher's 527 in Mandeville.
Simlawn Artificial Turf Custom Golf Putting Green. Beautiful, functional, zero maintenance. Call New Orleans' own LGD Lawn and Landscapes and get your free estimate.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes on magazine, as unique as you.
Young's Dry Cleaning, with 2 walk-up locations with personal service. Young's on Claiborne and Young's on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview. Young's Dry Cleaning. Call 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
Trey Yen in Mandeville, a New Orleans tradition for over 40 years, serving the finest Louisiana-inspired Chinese cuisine. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Trey Yen.
Greater New Orleans, a destination for learning. With 13 colleges and universities and a booming job market, Greater New Orleans is the ultimate destination for your higher education. Your path to the future begins in Greater New Orleans. Find out more at studynola.com.
Outdoor dining, Middle Eastern cuisine, under the oak trees, Lebanon's Cafe. Some of the city's finest lamb chops and shish kebab. Carrollton at Jeanette by the streetcar barn, Lebanon's Cafe.
You're on the neutral ground. With Corey Johnson.
You know, it is absolutely incredibly cool. I'll go home after work. I'll go feed Tolly. I'll walk him. I'll pet my outdoor cats that'll come running up for food. And then I'll grab my putter and wedge and head to my own backyard because LGD Lawn and Landscapes installed a putting green. For you golfers, it rolls about an 11 on the stemp meter. And then I've got like a 2-foot, around the green, like the, kind of little chipping area where I can chip to the green, the fringe. And then I have a couple little pads that I can chip up to the green from a farther distance in my yard. Yeah, NOLALGD.com is the website. NOLALGD.com. It's LGD Lawn and Landscapes, New Orleans' own. Get an absolutely free estimate on installation of artificial turf, synthetic turf for your backyard. Most of the applications, most of the installations, it's just putting turf in where there was grass. Zero maintenance. You're not tracking in puddles or dirt, especially if you have a pool in the backyard or just a little patch of grass in the backyard. That's sort of a hassle to deal with, cutting, edging, whatever. Get Sin Lawn from LGD Lawn and Landscapes. LGD Lawn and Landscapes. Sin Lawn, the best in the industry. The same synthetic turf that Tiger Woods uses on his TGL golf tour. NOLA. LGD.com is the website. Check out the installations from Uptown to the North Shore, Old Metairie, Kenner, West Bank, New Orleans East, Gentilly, all over the metro. NOLALGD.com. And for you golfers, take your short game to an entirely different level. Chipping, putting greens in your own backyard. It's incredible. I love it. NOLALGD.com. Too cool. It really is. Every time I walk in my backyard, I see the green, I smile. It's just awesome. Speaking of awesome, get outside, dine outside tonight. Go to Lebanon's Cafe, dine outside. Go to Bayonne and eat in the courtyard. Go to Irene's Cuisine in the Quarter, eat in the courtyard. Outdoor dining, gorgeous weather. Clancy's outdoor dining. Lillette outdoor dining. Le Petit Grocery, outdoor dining. Gorgeous weather, 65 degrees, 45% humidity. Great weather, similar to this, like today, for the next week and a half, 10 days. Blue skies, 50s, 60s, and 70s. Can't beat it. This morning, it was 47 degrees when I woke up on the South Shore. That means on the North Shore, low 40s. Somewhere on the North Shore might have had high 30s this morning. Awesome. Tomorrow's going to be an interesting day. If you're an LSU fan of the school or the athletic program, you might want to get engaged in this one. Voice your displeasure to your elected officials. Jeff Landry, like him or not, he's a power freak. He loves power. He's power hungry. He controls every significant board or commission statewide. He's a control freak. He's a ULL grad. And I'm a fan of the Raging Cajuns in Lafayette. But I'm an LSU grad, Baton Rouge campus, class of 91. Jeff Landry, no connections to LSU except arguably he doesn't like the school, is about to put the McNeese State president in as president at LSU. That decision will come down tomorrow. Instead of getting the guys from the nationwide search, nationally recognized, that can handle the job, the McNeese State president ascending to president of LSU and that system, mind-blowing, not even worthy of a true discussion. It's a joke. Not qualified to do the job. LSU doesn't hire the president of McNeese State in Lake Charles to be the president of LSU. That's insane. If you're an LSU fan or graduate, push the agenda. If you know Landry, people that know Landry, push your agenda that you don't want the McNeese State president to be president of LSU in over his head. Ridiculous. No other universities are thinking of hiring the McNeese State president to be president of their university. The McNeese State president wants to move up to something like that. He goes and is like second or third in command of a major university and learns because he's coming from Little McNeese. Doesn't have the experience, the resume, or the qualifications to run LSU in Baton Rouge. It's a joke. But Jeff Landry arguably doesn't really care about LSU. He's a ULL grad and wants to bring in his boy from McNeese. Maybe this will get your attention, LSU fans. Jeff Landry wants to bring in the McNeese State athletic director to become athletic director at LSU. Another person that is woefully unqualified to take on the job of athletic director for LSU. So if you don't care about academics, you don't want to learn about it, you don't understand it, whatever, the academics will be fine. Just think about the McNeese State athletic director becoming athletic director at LSU. I mean, in over his head, can't handle the job. Ridiculous suggestion. But Jeff Landry, that's what he's pushing. So in the next day, it could be the McNeese State president becoming the president at LSU. In the next week or so, the athletic director at McNeese State could become the athletic director at LSU. I mean, if you want to come up with a blueprint of sabotaging LSU academically and athletically, Governor Jeff Landry's coming up with a pretty damn good blueprint. Really is. hiring McNeese State. Think about the athletic department. Would LSU ever hire a head coach from McNeese State to become the head coach of that sport at LSU? Never. It'll never, ever happen. It would have to be like Will Wade. No, this is scary. This is going to be an interesting 24 hours. The unqualified guy. They're 3 finalists. The McNeese State guy's one of the 3 finalists. He's clearly unqualified for the job. He's clearly number 3. And if Jeff Landry gets his way, he'll be president of LSU. Crazy. 5 o'clock power hour coming to an end on this Monday, this gorgeous Monday. Not meaning to repeat myself. There's not a cloud in the sky. Blue sky, perfect. Mario Brothers, it's dark outside now. Yep. Old Sunday, daylight savings or whatever. We went back to standard time, fall back.
Dang, got to get used to it.
Yep. 2 hours less. I mean, you go back 4 months ago to June, 8:30 dark.
Yep.
Now it's like 5:15.
Long gone.
No, man, it's like about 3-hour difference in daylight.
Yeah.
Sucks.
I
And
don't
that
like
hour in the morning doesn't count.
Yeah,
No, or you get an hour earlier. It's light at 6 instead of 7. That doesn't count.
Yeah, stupid.
No. That's Blue Boy. I like the summer daylight. This 5:15 darkness sucks. It's depressing. You're right, Blue Boy. Almost depressing. See you tomorrow, straight up 4 o'clock. Be here.
You're on the neutral ground with Corey Johnson on TV on Cox Channel 4 and Spectrum Channel 333. Also on YouTube, on radio at NOLA Talk 93.9 FM, WSLA New Orleans.
It's 6 p.m.